But before the Aztecs and before the Maya, there were a culture who are referred to as the Olmecs.
Before the famous Mayan Civilization, the Olmecs intrigued people with their history and massive stone heads. Their artifacts baffled early experts, who often confused them with Maya and Aztec items. We'll delve into the lives of these early Olmecs and what set them apart, using a newly discovered ancient Mayan city in a Mexican jungle as an example. This discovery, made by archaeologists after navigating dense jungle terrain, features towering pyramids over 15 meters tall. Join us as we uncover the mysterious past of the Olmecs. From their colossal stone sculptures to the hidden cultural secrets unearthed through excavation. The mysterious Olmec civilization history explained. Before the Maya people took the spotlight in history books, there was another group called the Almecs. This group became a big mystery at the start of the 1900s, when people were really curious and eager to find new things. Back then, everyone was fascinated by old civilizations in Central America, seeing them not just as old stories, but as a way to peek into a lost world full of wonders. The story of how people settled in the Americas is much more complicated than we used to think. It's a mix of exploration, taking over lands, and making wild stories about what was out there. People couldn't resist the mysteries of these old societies. Big organizations in Europe and America, like museums and universities, thought it was important to understand these cultures. So they started paying for trips to dig up stuff, not just to collect things, but to learn more about the history and traditions of these old folks. This changed the way people looked at digging up old stuff. It went from being a treasure hunt to a serious science where they dug carefully and studied things closely. But in all this excitement about learning, there was still one big puzzle: the Olmec civilization. The giant stone heads and fancy buildings the Almecs made were some of the first things people found when they started digging. But they got confused and thought these things belonged to the Maya or Aztecs instead. It was hard to tell them apart because they looked similar, and not many people knew about the Almecs back then. Even weird-shaped skulls found in Brazil made things even trickier for the early archaeologists, who had a tough time figuring out which bits belonged to which old civilization. Then came along two important guys, John Lloyd Stephens and Frederick Catherwood. They went on trips and wrote about what they found in a book called Incidents of Travel in Central America, Chiapas, and Yucatan. They didn't just uncover the mysteries of the Maya, but also showed everyone how exciting digging up old stuff could be. Their cool drawings and interesting stories got people super interested in old Central American cultures. This was when archaeology started comparing findings from different parts of the world, which helped us understand how ancient societies grew. The story of the huge stone heads and their importance in uncovering the secrets of the Olmec people is a tale full of curiosity, exploration, and finally understanding in the world of archaeology. Found by Western archaeologists in the late 1800s and early 1900s, these giant sculptures, some taller than 9 feet and weighing tons, were puzzling. They had unique faces and often wore headgear like helmets, which fascinated but confused the people who found them. But what these helmets were exactly remains a mystery, as no physical examples have ever been found, just like the hidden crowns of Egyptian kings. Gradually, people realized that these heads were crucial to understanding the Olmec civilization, thanks to discoveries like Jose Melgarzano's find at Tres Zapotes in Veracruz in 1862. At first, though, these giant heads were seen as strange things, not part of a bigger, unknown civilization. It wasn't until archaeologists like Matthew Stirling started digging in places like San Lorenzo and La Venta in the middle of the 1900s that their real importance began to be understood. Stirling's digs showed that the Olmecs were much more than just those giant heads. They found all sorts of stuff, giving us a peek into the Olmec people's lives and culture. Institutions like the Smithsonian Institution helped by giving money and support, which let archaeologists dig deeper and learn more about what lay hidden under the ancient dirt. San Lorenzo, often called the oldest big city in the area, shows how smart and advanced the Olmec people were. Scientists used a special dating method to figure out how old San Lorenzo was and found things like jade figurines, special tools, and different kinds of pottery, showing that the Olmecs traded with other places and really liked jade. The fancy buildings in San Lorenzo, like the big pyramids and special places for ceremonies, show how organized and religious the Olmecs were. By carefully writing down everything they found, archaeologists are building a story about the Olmec people's past. The digs at Venta in Tabasco, Mexico, uncovered lots of cool stuff too, from big heads to fancy altars with detailed carvings. These finds gave us new insights into the Olmec people's stories and rituals, helping us understand their religious beliefs better. Before we dive into Dwarka's story, let's pause and think about its similarities to the Indus Valley civilization's mystery. Both vanished suddenly, leaving behind clues that keep historians guessing. Discovering the secrets of Dwarka's underwater world. The exploration of Venta in the 1950s was a big moment in understanding the MCH civilization, setting the stage for more studies to dig into its history. But while archaeologists celebrate their discoveries, there's a whole bunch of unexplored places we haven't looked at yet. Think about the flooded parts of the land that are underwater now. They could hold a ton of secrets, just waiting for curious folks to come and find them. Over in Gujarat, India, there's this ancient city called Dwarka. It's got a story as rich in spiritual stuff as it is in history. When we think about all the land that's underwater now, like 27 million square kilometers during the Ice Age, we've got to face the fact that there are probably lost cities down there. Dwarka was in a smart spot where the Gomati River meets the Arabian Sea, which helped keep bad guys away and let them trade with other places. Imagine a city buzzing with life and connections. In old stories, Dwarka sounds like a fancy place with well-planned streets, drains, and walls. It shows that they cared about keeping things neat and organized. But there are still questions about where Dwarka came from and how long it lasted before the sea swallowed it up. People exploring under the sea near modern Dwarka have found lots of old stuff, like stone foundations and stairs. These bits and pieces tell us about a society that knew how to live near the sea. With fancy gadgets, scientists have made maps of the sunken city, showing how big and cleverly built it was. But it's not just the buildings that get us excited. The stuff they've found tells stories about trading, sharing culture, and how their society worked. By checking how old things are using a method called radiocarbon dating, we can match up their timeline with stories about Lord Krishna, filling in the gaps between legends and real life. Dwarka's story is wrapped up in myths about Vishwakarma, the guy who Lord Krishna asked to design a super fancy city. It was all gold and jewels, showing off how rich and clever they were. But under all that shine lies a mystery hidden under the sea. Whether the city sank because the sea level rose or because something big happened, it reminds us that even grand things don't last forever. As we go through history, Dwarka's story mixes truth with tales, connecting the past to now. Its sunken ruins and mythical beginnings keep us curious, pushing us to learn more about what happened back then. And in those ruins, there's a big lesson, a reminder that fancy stuff doesn't stick around forever, but our smarts and creativity do. Dwarka's story resembles the mysterious fate of the Indus Valley civilization, a puzzle that has puzzled scholars for ages. Both flourished with busy cities and advanced planning before fading into obscurity. The sudden disappearance of both civilizations has intrigued historians who keep searching for answers to their puzzling end. Both Dwarka and the Indus Valley civilization left behind remains of their once vibrant societies, offering clues for researchers. Excavations at places like Mohenjo-daro and Harappa uncovered detailed structures and artifacts, giving insights into the lives of ancient Indus Valley people. Similarly, underwater explorations near Dwarka revealed sunken structures and artifacts, hinting at a thriving maritime culture. The decline of both civilizations is linked to various factors like changes in the environment, natural disasters, and social turmoil. Some think that environmental changes, such as river shifts or climate variations, may have played a part in Dwarka and the Indus Valley civilization's decline. Others believe that internal conflicts or invasions from outside may have destabilized these civilizations, leading to their downfall. The lack of written records from these ancient societies makes it hard to pinpoint the exact causes of their collapse, so historians have to piece together scattered evidence. Even though they vanished mysteriously, Dwarka and the Indus Valley civilization left lasting marks in art, architecture, and culture. The smart urban planning and skilled craftsmanship seen in their ruins show how clever these ancient civilizations were. Today, researchers keep exploring Dwarka and the Indus Valley civilization's mysteries, using new technologies and different approaches to find new clues. By teaming up archaeologists, historians, and scientists, they're slowly uncovering more about these lost civilizations. The similarities between Dwarka and the Indus Valley civilization remind us of the ups and downs of history, where civilizations rise and fall, leaving traces for future generations to understand. As scholars dig deeper into these ancient societies' mysteries, they gain a better grasp of human history's complexities and how fragile civilizations can be. But before we explore what happened to the Indus Valley civilization, let's think about what might have caused its sudden end. Imagine living in a city where the usual rains start acting weird around 2200 BCE. It's like a puzzle missing some pieces, waiting to be solved. Gone without a trace, the mysterious end of the Indus people. Let's explore the puzzling theories about the sudden end of the Indus Valley civilization. Picture this: living in a city where the usual rains start acting strange around 2200 BCE. It's like a story with missing pieces, waiting for us to find them. Back in the 1800s, while the British were busy building the Indian railway system, they found something incredible. Old ruins made of carefully crafted bricks in Punjab. Little did they know they were messing with the remains of the Indus Valley civilization, a society forgotten by time. Isn't it funny? An ancient civilization unknowingly helping to build something modern while its own story faded away. Then came Alexander Cunningham, a bit like a history detective, starting the Archaeological Survey of India. He was among the first to closely examine these ruins. But even with his reports, no one fully understood how important they were. It was like pieces of a puzzle scattered around, waiting for someone clever to put them together. Sir John Marshall took over the ASI in the early 1900s and decided to uncover ancient times. Under him, they dug at Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, revealing a civilization that was super smart and fancy. Harappa, now in Pakistan, was like the main city of the Indus Valley civilization, a place with impressive buildings and clever planning. Picture walking on streets lined up perfectly, showing how smart the city planners were. Mohenjo-daro, with its famous Great Bath, is another example of the people's cleverness. It wasn't just buildings, it was a city carefully planned to make life easy and fun. But even with all the smart planning and fancy buildings, there's still a big mystery about why the Indus Valley civilization suddenly disappeared. Was it because of changes in nature, political problems, or maybe a huge disaster we don't know about? Graham Hancock's theory about the Piri Reis map brings another aspect to historical puzzles. This old map, believed to be from 1513, shows the coastline of Antarctica, suggesting ancient people knew more about sailing than we thought. However, not everyone agrees. Some people think it could be a mistake or just someone's imagination. Critics say it's too early to say ancient people were great navigators based only on this map. They suggest other reasons for the Antarctica depiction, like errors in making the map or creative interpretations. Also, they're not sure if the map's version of Antarctica matches reality. Despite doubts, the Piri Reis map is still interesting to historians and mapmakers. They debate where its information came from. Some think it might be from ancient sailing knowledge or lost civilizations. One big debate about the map is how accurate it is about Antarctica. Hancock's supporters say it matches how Antarctica would look without ice. Skeptics question this, pointing out possible mistakes in the map. The argument over the Piri Reis map shows how hard it is to understand history. It reminds us to be careful when studying old things. But despite disagreements, the map keeps people curious and inspires more research. Scientists are still studying the Piri Reis map using new tools and methods. They hope to learn more about where it came from and why it was made. They also compare it with other old maps and stories about exploration to understand it better. In 1513, when Piri Reis made his map, Antarctica was a distant, icy mystery, unexplored by humans. But this old map, surprisingly accurate, challenges what we think we know about the past. Echoes of the past, exploring Hancock and Carlson's ancient wonders. Let's take a journey through the world of historical guesses, where our past stories are full of uncertainty and guessing. In 1513, when Piri Reis made his map, Antarctica was far away, hidden under ice. We didn't find it until 1818, but this old map is surprisingly accurate, making us question what we know. Graham Hancock, who loves stirring things up in history, says the Piri Reis map's longitude lines show ancient sailors knew a lot about navigation. Could they have known things we only discovered much later? Hancock thinks so, talking about lost civilizations and forgotten knowledge. But not everyone agrees with him. Some people doubt Hancock's ideas. They say the map's accuracy might be luck or exaggeration, not proof of ancient smarts. They think the mountains on the map might be made up, not real. Hancock's ideas go beyond maps. He talks about a big disaster around 10,600 BCE, maybe caused by comets, that messed up the environment and made societies collapse. He says this disaster wiped out smart people and their achievements, erasing them from history. Randall Carlson is a fascinating character in ancient history studies. He believes that highly advanced civilizations might have existed tens of thousands of years ago, long before humans started writing things down. According to Carlson, these civilizations built massive and mysterious structures that puzzle modern scholars. Examples of these structures include the pyramids of Giza in Egypt and Stonehenge in England. These ancient monuments are so impressive that they make us rethink what we know about how people used to live. Carlson's ideas have sparked intense debates among historians and archaeologists. Some scholars support his theories, suggesting that these ancient civilizations possessed advanced knowledge and technology. They argue that the precision and complexity of structures like the pyramids of Giza indicate a level of engineering skill that seems ahead of its time. However, others remain skeptical, questioning the evidence and proposing alternative explanations for the construction of these monuments. One of Carlson's main arguments is that the age of these structures suggests a much longer timeline for human civilization than previously believed. He points to geological and astronomical evidence to support his claims, suggesting that ancient peoples had a sophisticated understanding of natural phenomena. For example, he highlights the alignment of certain structures with celestial events, indicating a possible knowledge of astronomy. The pyramids of Giza, built over 4,500 years ago, continue to captivate researchers with their precision and astronomical alignments. Some believe that these monumental tombs were constructed using advanced mathematical and engineering techniques. Similarly, Stonehenge, a prehistoric monument dating back over 4,000 years, raises questions about the capabilities of ancient societies. Its precise alignment with the solstices suggests a deep understanding of astronomy and celestial movements. Critics of Carlson's theories argue that the construction of these ancient structures could be attributed to simpler explanations, such as human labor and ingenuity. They suggest that ancient civilizations may have developed advanced building techniques over time without the need for external influences. Additionally, they question the feasibility of Carlson's proposed timeline for human history, citing a lack of concrete evidence to support such claims. Despite the controversy surrounding his ideas, Carlson's work continues to stimulate scholarly inquiry into the origins of human civilization. His theories encourage researchers to explore alternative perspectives on ancient history and to reevaluate existing evidence in light of new discoveries. Let's get ready to explore Randall Carlson's ideas about ancient civilizations. Think about how history often throws us surprises, revealing hidden stories waiting to be uncovered. Lost Worlds revealed Randall Carlson's bold theories. When we explore ancient mysteries and forgotten civilizations, we often come across Randall Carlson. He's known for his bold ideas and ability to make people question things. Carlson's theories make us wonder about the past and what might have happened. Take, for example, his thoughts on ancient civilizations that were really smart. He looks at big old buildings like the Great Pyramid of Giza and sees them as proof of how clever people were back then. But even with all their grandeur, there are still mysteries about how they were built. Carlson isn't just interested in big buildings. He also sees connections between ancient cultures around the world. He thinks they might have shared knowledge and ideas long ago, hinting at a lost history of human achievement. But where Carlson's ideas get really interesting is when he talks about big disasters that might have happened in the past. He imagines a world where comets hit the Earth, causing huge problems for civilizations. It's like a story from a movie, full of drama and excitement. However, not everyone believes Carlson's exciting ideas. Some people doubt that he has enough proof to support what he says. Whenever he shares evidence, there are others who are ready to question and find problems with his arguments. Critics of Carlson's ideas think the evidence he uses might not be very reliable. They say that some of it is not definite and can be understood in different ways. For example, some people say that the information from rocks and land can be tricky and not always clear. They also think that Carlson's ideas about when ancient civilizations lived don't match up with what most experts think. Critics also point out when Carlson's ideas don't seem to fit together well. They say that sometimes he links things without having enough proof that they are really connected. For instance, he might say that two things happened together without showing strong evidence that they did. Some people question if Carlson is really qualified to talk about these things. They wonder if he knows enough about the subjects he's discussing. They think that maybe his education and experience don't make him an expert on ancient civilizations and how they lived. Critics also worry about what might happen if people start to believe Carlson's ideas too much. They think that his ideas could make people not trust the usual scientific knowledge anymore. They're afraid that people might start to believe things that aren't true just because Carlson says them. But despite the doubts, Carlson keeps telling stories about ancient knowledge hidden in old myths and legends. He thinks there's a lot we don't know about the past, and he's determined to find out more. Let's go back to those ancient buildings for a moment, the ones that have stood the test of time. Places like the temples in Malta or the pyramids in Egypt make us wonder what life was like back then. Were these buildings just for show, or did they have some deeper meaning? As we ponder these questions, skeptics remind us to stick to the facts. They want proof before they'll believe in Carlson's wild ideas. But in a world where truth and fiction often blur, finding the real answers can be tough. Before we jump into the younger Dryas impact theory, consider how ancient events shape our worldview. Imagine Earth colliding with a comet, leaving behind puzzles for us to solve and scientists to debate. Disaster strikes, Earth's cosmic collision. The story of the younger Dryas impact theory is quite fascinating, filled with geological puzzles and climate changes. In its heart, there's evidence that tells us about a big collision between Earth and a comet. Supporters of this idea point to many strange things in the ground as proof that a comet crashed into Earth. They talk about tiny diamonds found everywhere, little spheres and layers of dirt, and lots of idiom in the ground. But not everyone believes them. Some people have other ideas, like ocean currents or volcanic eruptions, to explain the changes in climate. The argument keeps going, with both sides bringing up interesting points and not giving in. Did a comet explode in the air, leaving no hole in the ground? Or did it quietly hit an ice sheet without making a big noise? We don't know for sure because the answers are hidden under layers of dirt and disagreements among experts. Let's take a closer look at the clues, shall we? Imagine a time when the sky turned dark because of dust and debris spreading after a big crash. Ice from Greenland and Antarctica tells us that temperatures dropped a lot, and layers of dirt show there were fires all over the world. Then there are the Carolina Bays, strange oval marks along the East Coast. Maybe they're scars from stuff flying through the air during the crash. The ice cores taken from Greenland and Antarctica are like time capsules, keeping information about past climates. Scientists drill into these ice sheets to collect samples that show changes in temperature, air makeup, and even past events like volcanic eruptions and meteorite hits. By studying these ice samples, researchers can figure out how Earth's climate changed over time, helping us understand past events like wildfires and floods. Similarly, layers of dirt give us clues about what happened in the past. Each layer tells a story about Earth's history, showing changes in climate, geology, and even human activities. By looking at dirt samples from lakes, rivers, and oceans, scientists can find evidence of past natural disasters, like wildfires and floods. These samples help us understand how the environment changed over time. Now let's talk about the Carolina Bays, strange oval shapes found mainly along the Atlantic coast. Scientists have been puzzled by these for a long time. While we're not sure how they formed, there are a few ideas. Some scientists think they were made by objects from space, like meteors or comets, crashing down during the Ice Age. They think the oval shape comes from the shock waves created by the crash, which changed the ground and made the ovals. But there are other ideas too. Some scientists think the Carolina bays were formed by wind or water wearing away the ground, or maybe by underground caves collapsing. These different ideas show us how tricky it can be to figure out how things in nature happened. In summary, the evidence we've talked about, the ice cores, dirt layers, and Carolina bays, helps us understand what happened in the past. Even with all the chaos, life somehow survived. Or that's what we think. Big animals disappeared, like mammoths and saber-toothed cats, probably because of the crash. And what about the Clovis people, those ancient hunters and gatherers? Did they die because of the disaster, or did they manage to live through it? Carlson's ideas make us rethink what we know about the past. He imagines ancient civilizations born from a comet's crash, which makes us see history in a new way. Even though some people doubt him and experts argue, his story is too interesting to ignore. So let's think about the mysteries of the younger Dryas impact theory and wonder about the big event that changed our world. In the middle of all the uncertainty, there's a chance to learn something new. A peek into a time and place where truth and stories mix together in a cosmic dance. As we explore the younger Dryas impact theory, mysteries unfold. Did a comet really change Earth's fate? Keep discovering with us. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more revelations.